this live stream here, and I'll give it a quick second to kind of warm everything up here and let some people drop in. But we'll be starting here in a quick second with my live stream for this week. Plan on going for about 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. We've kind of ran long the last couple times, and I don't really want to run too long. But I'm going to get started with doing a little live stream on self-storage investing. And today's topic, we're going to talk about acquisitions. And we've been having a little series on acquisitions, but today we're going to be talking specifically about off-market deals. So I'm just going to give a few seconds here to kind of let everybody kind of trickle in. And let me pull up something as well. I just needed to grab a link that I'm going to need later. So let me just pull up that link. Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm starting to see some people could trickle in. Welcome. So welcome everybody. This is a live stream, self-storage investing with Powell Chi. That's me. And today, today's topic, let's go ahead and I would say I'll give it 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes, and then we'll get started. Plan on being here for at least 30 minutes. I think I'm going to try to do it within 30 to 45 minutes and finish. They've been running a little bit long. They've been running about an hour. But I definitely don't want to go past an hour. I know that. So I'm going to kick it off we'll talk about our topics. We'll talk about a few things with self-storage investing, what's been going on lately. And then we'll kind of end it with a Q&A, right? So let me just go ahead and get started. All right. So today's topic, and today's topic is acquisitions, right? And we're talking about off-market deals, right? And off-market, specifically one off-market deal that I'm going to talk about. It's a case study on an off-market deal that I had. It was it was the second property that I closed on, and it was the first one that I did in July. So I did 3 in July. I'm probably going to go over them. So the next one I'll do is the second one I did in July in a week. And then a week after that, I'll do another one on the third one that I closed in July. And just kind of talking about the acquisitions part of it, because, we haven't been running them for very long. So there isn't much yet to talk about on the actual running of them. But so this is a live stream with Powell Chi, self-storage investing live streams, episode 3. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to actually get up to. I put there so I could do it to the hundreds, but I don't really know if I'm going to get into that. I'd be surprised if I get to, I don't know, if I get to 20, I'm going to be pretty surprised. But I'd like to do it for now, get you guys and talk about, what's been going on with self-storage investing. I want to pop up here the quick agenda just so that you can see what we'll be talking about today. So the agenda that I'm going to talk about is really kind of hey, let's talk about off-market deal, right? Off-market deals are, kind of like the gold mine that everybody's trying to get, right? Everybody's trying to get an off-market deal. Right. And how do you get an off-market deal? Right. So then after that, we'll talk about some personal experience. We'll just kind of personal experience, and then we'll finish up with Q&A, really. All right. So those of you who are in, I'd love to, I think when you sign up with the link, it tells you a little bit hey, if you click on this other link, you'll be able to join. Let me see if I can put it in here in the comments here. So let me see. I'll put that in there. Oops. So if you join this link right here, and you just join there, you add yourself in there, then I'll be able to see your comments, right? So I'll be able to see your actual comments and who you are. Rather than it'll just, if you don't say it and you just type in a comment, it'll just say Facebook user. And so I really won't know who you are. But so if you'd like to, go to that link right there, join, sign up for it, and then it'll allow me to see who you are as far as if you want to ask any questions. Because I like to make this as interactive as possible, because I don't really want to just sit up here and talk all day. I like to answer questions. I like to field comments. So definitely let's start it off with letting me know where you're from. So I'll give you a brief intro of who I am and everything, but in the comment sections, if you write in the Facebook comments or YouTube comments, wherever you're checking in from, LinkedIn, just put in the comment section where you're coming in from, right? I'd love to hear where you're from. So my name is Powell Chi. I'm a self-storage and real estate and multifamily investor based out of Los Angeles, California. So I've lived in Los Angeles for a number of years now, and but primarily spent all of my time really in California. And all of my real estate investing has been outside of California, and that was a big shift for me. That was like when I was growing up, I could see people that had owned properties for a long time. People in my family said, bought a house a long time ago, and it had appreciated like crazy. And all of a sudden the house was super expensive. And as I was kind of getting a job and at the point where I was thinking, okay, well, how am I going to buy a house that was $500,000 at the time when you're making $50,000, right? And it's like, that didn't make sense to me. How was I going to do that? Like, I know my dad was able to do it, but like, how was I able to do that? He bought houses at a different time. But, so then when I, like, probably around 2012-ish, 2013 to around 2014, 15, I really kind of got the idea. Well, I didn't get the idea. I researched and found other people that had the idea of that you could buy real estate outside of your backyard and own it from outside, own it and, it be a real estate investment that you don't have to necessarily touch. You don't have to feel. You may not even visit your property, right? And that was like mind blowing to me. So in 2015, I bought my first single family house. I live in LA, like I mentioned, but I bought it in Kansas City. And I never went and saw that property. I never looked at it. I never got eyes on it. The only time I saw it was on Google Maps. And I bought that property. It actually did really well. I just realized though really quickly that the way I was going about it was actually pretty lucky. I just wasn't able to scale it the way that I bought it. So that all said, I fast forward. I got into multifamily investing, bought several apartments, got involved in several different syndications, which are, if you know about real estate investing, syndications are where you get a large group of people and you go out and probably buy a large property. And so I got involved in a bunch of syndications on the general partnership side, and then was able to, I guess my situation kind of changed once COVID hit. And once COVID hit, I started thinking, you know what, I'm probably not going to buy. Well, I know I'm not going to buy any multifamily properties within 6 months. And that was, the reason why people are like, well, why? Why aren't you going to buy anything? Well, because I'm not buying anything in my backyard. I don't know the cities and the metros like somebody who is buying in their backyard. And so I was not going to be able to take advantage of like, hey, there's a killer deal because, they're affected by COVID and there's going to be this great deal. Well, those deals are going to get scooped up by people that are in like, investing in their backyard. Because I have a sort of a wide range and I've invested in Dallas, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Phoenix, Indianapolis. It's really impossible to know all of those places as well as your backyard. And so I just knew that I wasn't going to get any of those great killer deals, and I wasn't going to buy any deals that I felt like were kind of sketchy. And, with all the eviction moratoriums going on and CDC rules and cancel rent and all kinds of whatever, all these unknowns, I just wasn't going to buy any multifamily for 6 months. So I started looking into self-storage at this time and started looking at, it was my second favorite asset class. I didn't really know anything about it. And from there, I just thought, well, let me take this time to go ahead and learn about self-storage and figure out, is this an asset class that I really want to pursue? If it is, then great. I got some time to do it. And I got, I got some time to go ahead and like figure out if I would like it. If it's not, well, then at least I took the time to figure out that I don't like this asset class anymore. And I don't have to pretend that I know something about it or pretend that I may want to do something about it in the future. I can just eliminate it from anything that I want to do. But the more and more that I got involved, the more and more that I really started to feel like, hey, this is a great asset class. And I'm super happy about that. I took the time and got the opportunity to really dive into this asset class. So we'll fast forward to, about, I guess, a little less than a year ago. So I put my first deal under contract around October of last year. And that was a self-storage deal in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For those of you who were on my live stream last week, I went over that one, how I acquired it, a lot of the acquisition side of acquiring that first facility. You can go back and watch YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, this is all recorded on YouTube, so you can go there and check that out. It's like how did I get my very first one, right? There's a difference between getting your first one and getting your second one. That first one is a big step, right? The second one can be a lot easier, and then it can get easier after that. You can start to get more and more and bigger and bigger and faster. But that first one is kind of an important one, right? Today we're going to be going over my second one. So first one I closed in January, so put it under contract in October, close it in January. Second one, put it under contract around April, yeah, and then closed it in July. Okay, so I just had, we're talking about a month ago that I closed it. So we're going to talk about that one today. But yeah, appreciate. Let me get some comments here. So Mark Steffen, thank you. Hey, thanks for showing up in Las Vegas. Yeah, awesome. I was just there in July. Actually, when I was closing a deal, I was actually closing a deal and going to a self-storage convention in Las Vegas at that time. And then we also have another Facebook user is coming in from Houston, Texas. What about the rest of you? Where are the rest of you coming in from? Let me know where you're, whereabouts you are. All right. And another thing that I'd like to know, definitely write in there, what's new with you, right? And I want to talk about what's new. And the reason why I want to start off with kind of what's new before we get into the case study of the self-storage is kind of like, if you're not taking any steps towards actively getting something done, then nothing's going to get done, right? Does that make sense? I mean, it's kind of like plain English, right? It makes sense. So you need to find out, what are you doing in these last couple, let's say 2 weeks or a month? What are you doing in order to get something done towards your goals? If your goal is self-storage, like my goal is right now, I am in acquisitions mode. I am looking to acquire my next self-storage facility. So what did I do? What's new for me? Well, last week, my team and I think we submitted four letter of intents. So 4 letters of intent. Will we get any of them? I don't know, but you don't get any of them if you don't put out a letter of intent, right? If you don't, put out an offer out there, you get 0, right? So I don't know. Will we get any? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that any of them are at this point, there hasn't been that much traction yet or anything on them. So we'll see. But we're about to put out more this week, right? We're planning on putting out more this week. We're grinding through a lot of the underwriting and making sure that we feel comfortable with these type of properties, and then we send off an LOI, right? We don't really mess around. We're actively trying to pursue and get some more deals done this year. We have some pretty big goals for 2021 and going forward. So what is new from you? Hey, it looks like there's more people coming in. So Teresa, hey, how are you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you, Teresa. Thanks for coming in. Dayton, Ohio. So now I know there's a lot of things going on in the Ohio region. And hey, Josh Torres, thank you for showing. Thank you for showing, Josh. Welcome, Las Vegas as well. Popular destination. All right, there's I don't know if you guys know, there's another self-storage convention going on in September in Las Vegas as well. I don't think I'm going to go to it. Just have a newborn, and so it's hard to take a lot of time away from the newborn, and just leave my wife to take care of that little rambunctious little kid that, screaming his head off and everything. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that one, but I would normally love to go. Hey, John Winnewick. Good to see you, buddy. I normally see you at my meetups. So I haven't seen you in a while because we haven't had a meetup here in the Bay Area. I'm sorry, in the Bay Area, in the South Bay in Los Angeles in a while, right? So great questions. I appreciate your question. John, we'll get to it when we get to the Q&A, but definitely keep writing in your questions. All right. And so, hey, what's up, Rob? Rob Williams. Great to see you, buddy. There you go. Sarasota, Florida, coming in all over the place. All right. So, yeah, tell me what's new with you guys, right? Tell me what's new. Show me what's new. I'm happy to talk about that as well. So if you aren't doing things, if you aren't analyzing deals, right? I mean, John, you could tell people, you come to my meetup, you see me, I do this all the time. It's like, okay, raise your hand if you've analyzed the deal, right? In the last 30 days, have you analyzed the deal? I mean, do the underwriting, do the whole thing, analyze the deal. And, we start out with about like 70% of the room raises their hand. And then it's raise your hand if you've submitted an LOI. Well, then about like 5 people maybe say I did in the last month, right? Raise your hand if you put a deal under contract. And it's maybe like 1 person raise their hand. And it's like, so it narrows down. So you got to make sure you're doing those things with your, actively trying to get deals. Then you need to actively be trying to get these things done. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's get into the deal. All right. Let's talk about the case study here, which you guys are, let's discuss. Okay. So let's see. Hold on a second. So I'm going to send that back. Okay. So there's my deal. It's kind of rolling across the bottom here. It's a little ticker, little funny little gadget. So we got this little software. Okay. So it was a 452 unit property. This is my second deal, right? 452 units. You see there's 63,000 square feet in self-storage. You don't measure units as much. So I do the unit count because a lot of people in multifamily, it's always units. How many units? How many units? How many units? In storage, units aren't really that as important. I mean, they'll list it, but it's not as important as square footage. Everybody wants to know how much square footage, because a 63,000 square foot building, or in this case, it's 3 locations, so 3 buildings, could be 452 units. It also could be 250 units, or it could be, 750 units. It all, so you could have really tiny units. You could have big space units for cars and things like that. So really they want to know what's the square footage, because you go a little bit on rent per square foot, dollar per square foot, a little bit more in storage than you do in multifamily. Okay. So, but I put that in there just so people know that what we're talking about. Now, this property is, so 3 storage facilities, 3 different properties, and they were all in the Gulfport of Mississippi. So if you know Biloxi, Mississippi, kind of that area, Biloxi, Mississippi, it's kind of like right on the Gulf. And it's like, I mean, our facilities are within, I think they're all within 3 miles of the Gulf, which during hurricane season, everybody's like, are you going to buy something 3 miles away from the coast? That's crazy. But our insurance costs are very high, just so you know, but they are high because of that. That all said, let's get into kind of how you find the deal, right? So this deal came to me as off-market deal. Now, how do you get an off-market deal, right? If you know me and how I've been working, I guess right now is I've always been working with brokers, right? I've never really done the off-market direct to seller thing right now. That's a great avenue. That's an avenue I definitely want to pursue and look to do something in that. But as of right now, I haven't done anything like that. I haven't pursued that at all. It's not my strategy, but it is great strategy. However, I'm always going with brokers. So I'm talking to brokers, making relationships with brokers, talking to them what they have, and always looking for what have they not shown yet to everybody else. Well, it happens to be in this case, I had a very good relationship with the broker, right? And the reason why I had a great relationship with the broker is because he is the broker that I closed my last deal with, right? So I closed my last deal, let's rewind, in January. So I closed that one, and I kept in touch with him. Hey, what else do you have? We're also looking in these other areas. Do you have anything that's off market? And, just kind of keeping in touch with them, right? After about, I don't know, a couple months. So I closed in January, and then I said April, I put under contract. So it was around in March or so, middle March. He came back to me and he said, "Hey, Powell, I think I got something for you." And I said, "Okay, great. Let's talk." He said, "Okay, well, this one it's about to go on market. It's not even on the market yet. It's 3 properties. It's in this Biloxi, Mississippi area. We're talking, it's like 63,000 square feet or 60,000 square feet, when you combine them all. So it's basically 3 properties. Each of them are about 20,000 square feet, 21,000 square feet each. And they each have 170 or 160 units or something like that, right? Okay. Sounds good. Great. So what did he do? He sent it to me. He sent me the deal and was like, "Okay, just so you know, Powell, this property is like, we haven't shown it to anybody yet. We're about to show it to you first, and then we're going to send it out to everybody else as well." Right. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. So I took a look at it. I looked at the numbers, asked them what's the purchase price and everything. And then I looked at the numbers and I was like, floored. Well, I don't know, floored, but I was like, this is a great deal. This is a great deal. And I was very surprised. I started running like the comparables next to like each facility. And I was like, there's no way that these comparables can be like this. And I was just like, the property can't be everything that I'm thinking it is. And so what I did is I sent it to my business partner. So I sent it to my business partner and I said, hey, I know you're underwriting a bunch of deals right now, but you got to stop all that. Underwrite this one. Tell me what you think. What do you say? And so purchase price was like 1.46 million. Okay. So 1.46 million. So you can see, you can figure out the numbers in terms of like cost per unit or cost per square foot or whatever. So 1.46 million. And I was like, okay, 1.46. So my business partner ran his numbers, came back to me that same night, and he was like, Powell, this is an awesome deal. Let's get it. And I was like, great. Cause that's what I thought. I didn't want to give away anything in terms of like what I thought about the deal. I just wanted him to evaluate it right away. And he said, okay. So the next question was, all right, so let's submit an LOI like ASAP, right? Let's try to get this. And so how much should we submit for? Like 1.46 million, right? Is the price, list price. What should we submit for? So I don't know. You guys can tell me what you would submit for. And what would be, your purchase price. I thought it was a great deal. And so I said, I want to go full price offer. Like we can't wait till this deal goes to the market. If this deal goes to the market, it's going to get bid up higher than 1.46 million. It's going to be significantly higher than that. It'll probably go into the like 1.8, 1.9, maybe even go into the 2. And I was like, I'm going to do a full price offer and just try to get this locked up right away. There's no reason for me to try to, you could try to haggle a couple $100,000. You could probably try to offer 1.2 million, try to 1.3 million, maybe get $150,000 discount, whatever. Hey, great. If you're able to get that, even better. But for me, I was like, it's not worth the risk. So we already got a great discount on it right now. So I basically sent him that broker gave it to me. I sent him the LOI that same night. I said, hey, I like this deal. We like it. We want to move forward with it. I'm going to send you an LOI right now. Send him that LOI. And he got back to me the next day and he said, Powell, you and another group have seen this deal. We've actually received 2 LOIs, yours being the first. And the seller said he'll take yours and he'll honor yours. Now, I didn't ask him if the other deal was more or not, but he said his word was he would take yours and he would give it to you. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm happy with that. Right. So that's, from there, what, you basically that's the important piece is you need to submit that LOI ASAP, right? Submit that LOI ASAP, especially if it's a great deal, right? So that all said, that was kind of like, like the initial story of going into this. Like, I can fast forward into like, some of the things that went on with it, but that's the initial story of like off-market deal, great relationship with the broker, right? Because he knows that I'm going to get back to him right away. He knows that I'm going to close the deal if I like the deal and I'm not going to mess around, right? And so he gives me a deal. I tell him I'm going to take a look at it. I look at it that night. My business partner then looks at it that night. I write him back right away and tell him, hey, I'm interested. I'm going to send you a LOI basically tonight, right? And then I get word back the next day that like, he's accepting the LOI. So that means what's the next step, right? Next step after that is putting a purchase and sale agreement, right? Putting a purchase and sale agreement together. So that's what you have to do. You have to make sure you put a purchase and sale agreement together and that you, that it's acceptable, right? And you want to put it together as fast as possible. So up until that point where you actually get the purchase and sale agreement signed, you are trying to speed everything up as fast as possible. Like, hey, I'm going to get this. Now you got to find a lawyer. You got to have like a draft of a PSA, you have to have it in that state and you got to get a lawyer. And then from there you give it to the broker and give it to the seller and, get them to sign it. And you want them to sign it ASAP because you never know if somebody comes in really quickly and all of a sudden they decide to go with somebody else. Right. So you're trying to speed everything up as fast as possible. So we are able to get it done. We were able to send off that, get that purchase and sale agreement and do that, as fast as possible. Now for us, because we've learned this process, the speed is very important. We have a purchase and sale agreement that is pretty generic. I would say that we don't need, it basically kind of fits a lot of different states. So because we look in a lot of different states. So this purchase and sale agreement is kind of agreeable on a lot of different states. If you don't have one, kind of a hint for those of you who maybe are like, hey, I don't have a purchase and sale agreement template already. How would I get one? If I have to contact a lawyer, or how do I know if it's a good one? Because a lawyer might take 3 or 4 days before they get one to you, right? They have to review your letter of intent and then they have to write it up accordingly. Maybe it takes 3 or 4 days. Maybe it takes longer, right? Sometimes it takes longer. So for us, it was just imperative we get it off fast. But a hint for you guys who are doing it is that you can ask the broker, because a lot of times the broker will give you a very, very generic, or a state, like the association of the state, like Realtors Association for the state of whatever. And they will give you like that contract. And then you can kind of use that as a basis. And that can kind of hold you over until you get an actual PSA, or you go ahead and use it. I mean, it's a legitimate contract that is used every single day. And so it's basically a template that you can use, right? So that's something that I would say, if you don't have a contract, that you don't have one kind of handy, then go ahead and ask the broker for theirs, right? Okay. So I would tell you this, that for us, as soon as we get that LOI signed, right, and we're working towards that purchase and sale agreement, the next thing I do is I put together my team. My team is the team that who wants to be with me on this deal. Now, I would say that's not always the way that everybody does it. This is the way that I like to do it. And I guess, the difference is, like, a lot of times when people put together teams and they start to either raise capital or start to figure out who's going to be, on the general partnership, or who's going to be in a joint venture. This is a joint venture with me, but who's going to be on this, is that they wait until the deal, you go out and you visit the deal and you do all the due diligence. And so you're already probably 30, 40 days into the deal. And then you start inviting people to be part of the team, be part of the investment, and get them excited, show them a webinar and all this kind of stuff. I don't do it like that. Me personally, I like to do it basically right away. So as soon as I get this LOI signed and I'm thinking this LOI is going to happen, I start reaching out to people. I start reaching out to my list and saying, hey, I'm pretty close to having a deal. Who wants to get in on this deal? Because you'll get in early. That means when I go fly out there, I'm going to give you the address. And if you want to come with me, you can come take a look at it with me. You want to go run comps with me and do mystery shopping on all the comparables, you can come with me, right? You want to meet the property manager out there and talk to them and maybe meet the broker and let's have lunch with them. You can come with me. But that doesn't happen for a lot of other places or a lot of other people. I don't know. It's just according to what you feel like doing, right? I feel like it's a good value for people. I feel like it's something that gives you experience. It's something that a lot of people would want to be part of. I know that I certainly was always wanted to be part of in all the deals that I did. So that's just something I like to do. You can decide what you like to do and what way you like to do it. Let's get into some questions really quickly before I kind of go on to more of the actual deal. All right. So let's see. What do we got? Oh, Teresa, congratulations on your baby. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Little baby's out doing a walk right now with mama right now. So that's great. He's getting big. He's 4 months, just turned 4 months a little bit ago. Facebook user, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, thanks for coming. Feel free to hit the link and join us as well if you would like to show your name. Eric London. How you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Yeah, miss seeing you at normally see each other at my meetup, and haven't been able to do that in a while. So hey, got to get back to good. I'm glad you got a few more properties under your belt. Yep. Yeah, a few more properties under my belt right now. So excited about that as well. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, didn't put your full name there. Okay, so I'll just say, so you're buying this deal sight unseen. Okay, good question. Good question. So sight unseen, and So yeah, the property is sight unseen. Like again, now you're under contract doesn't mean you actually have to buy it yet, right? So there's a difference between actually buying the deal and putting it under contract, right? So you're not quite there where you feel like, hey, this deal is, I haven't bought it yet, right? This is Harry, right? Harry, I believe that's you, right? So I just pretty sure that that's you. So this is how I do it. I put a deal under contract and then I fly out there, right? It's just in terms of time and money and things like that. That's just what I like to do, right? So I don't really want to go fly out at a facility, figure out I don't really like this facility. It isn't really what I thought it was going to be. And then I decide not to put it under contract or put it under contract or whatever. And basically decide that I just wasted $2,000 or $3,000 and a week of time and all this kind of stuff. So I don't really do it like that. I put it under contract first and then I fly out there and take a look at it. Right. Now, anybody could do it their own way, but that's just how I do it. So Harry, how much down payment do you put down to close these deals? Typically, you can put somewhere like 1%. So it's around 1% is generally your earnest money deposit. So I think you mean earnest money deposit, right? So if you mean earnest money deposit, generally like 1% of the purchase price would be something that you would put down, right? Okay. So in terms of down payment, if you actually mean down payment, generally you're talking like 25% down payment of the whole deal, right? So the lender will probably put in the other 75%. You probably also need to raise some capital or raise some money for CapEx as well. So hopefully that answers your question there, Harry. Okay. Mark, let me see what question you got. Can you share the numbers on this purchase, income versus expenses? Let me see. I don't have that in front of me, income versus expenses. So the purchase, like I said, mentioned was 1.46. Actually, the seller also had a lot next door, and he's like, hey, you want the lot? I'll sell it to you for $80,000. So our purchase price ended up being $1.54 million. I'm trying to think. I don't have the exact numbers for you, Mark, in terms of like income and expenses. I will tell you this, that income was over, I think the income was over $350,000 in terms of the gross income. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Gross potential, I'm not sure the gross potential is probably somewhere around $400,000. Let me see. What other things can I say on this property? So I'll give you this. How about what did I kind of like and what did I see in it that I thought, hey, I really like about this property, right? Maybe that can help you, since I can't really go over the exact numbers. I don't have them in front of me. So what did I like about this property? Okay, first of all, when you look at the competition levels, this is one specific thing that you have to look for in storage is like, what are the competition levels like? What is the square foot per capita around the area in a 3 mile and a 5 mile radius, right? Generally, you want those numbers to be under 8. 8 is sort of the number, right? Anything under 8 means that the competition levels are lower. So your property is considered undersupplied in a market that's undersupplied. If it's over 8, it means that there's more storage available per person, more than 8 square feet of storage per person in this 3 to 5 mile radius. And that means that your property is in an area that's generally considered oversupplied. Now, that's just, that's a very, very rule of thumbish, right? So, it can be in every market's different, right? So some markets can be lower than that and still be oversupplied. Some markets can be higher than that and still be considered undersupplied, right? So it's but generally that's I would say the rule of thumb that you look for. Now in this one's, every time I looked at the property, it was under that mark. So it's under 8 at each property, and I was like, there's no way this is going to be under 8 at each of them. The 3 properties, they're all about I would say 15 miles. So the farthest part of them is 15 miles away from each other. And I was like, the first one, I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's under 8. That's great. I checked the next one. I was like, there's no way the second one can be too as well. Bam, the second one was as well. I was like, oh man, I was two out of 3 of these locations is underserved. That's so great. There's no way that it can be 3. Third one was like, I think it was right at 7. So I was like undersupplied, but not hugely undersupplied. But that was like great for me. I was like, that's awesome. Okay, so now let me look at the facility. Look at the facilities. I find out, the facilities, they're actually about 90% full, all of them, 90% full, and even higher, and even a little bit higher than 90% full. So one was like 90, and the other ones were like 95, and I don't know, so maybe even a little higher than that. And I was like, that's pretty full. So they're staying pretty full. Now let me look at the rents. The rents are significantly lower than the market. The rents are really low compared to the market. And I was like, well, that's great. There's a reason why they're full. Excuse me. It's because they're low rents, they're cheap rents, right? That's why the place is so full. And so I was like, well, there's a significant gap there where we can increase the rent. So that's great. I mean, like, I think it's, I want to say the number. I want to say it's like 26 cents per square foot that we felt like we could raise the rent. Now, just so you know, in our underwriting, we didn't say we were going to raise it all 26 cents. I think we said we're only going to raise it 5 cents. So we're only going to raise 5 cents. We'll still hit our numbers, and we still have 21 more cents to go. So that's part of what made this deal so great. Then we started looking at, okay, let me look at the expenses, right? Expenses. What was incurring a lot of expenses? Well, this place has 3 different property managers, all on site, living on site. So there's a person at location number 1, there's a different person at location number 2, and a different person at location number 3. And all of them are getting paid, right? And all of them live there. And I was like, so that's a significant chunk of money towards payroll. Now, if you know me in terms of like how I run my properties at Radiant Storage, all of our things are unmanned, right? So we may have an office. I can show you a picture. Actually, maybe I should have just shown some pictures. Yeah. So let me try to bring some pictures in here really quickly. So, okay. So, hey, there's one of the facilities, and then you can look at it as in there's the front, right? The office. And here's like the apartment. It has an apartment, right? Not only an office, but it actually has an office and an apartment where they stay. You can look, that's a pretty nice apartment. All right, I was like, that's pretty nice. Let me see, what else can I show? So yeah, here's, basic self-storage, nothing fancy, nothing, we were there when it was raining. You can see it was raining that day. But basic self-storage, kind of nice, painted, looks new. The roofs and everything look new. Drainage, you see that even though it's raining, it's just draining right in the middle. So that's great to see. Let me see, where are some other pictures and anything that I could show? Okay, how about this one? All right. I mean, you can see doors look nice. These are brand new doors, elevated. So it's elevated a little bit right here. So that way that the rain doesn't get in, right? Now, they're not all like that, but this is a nice look. You can see they actually had new lighting right over here. You can see the new lighting that they put in. So this new LED lighting is nice. So that was good. And yeah, let me show. So yeah, I showed you that one already. Let me show the other one. So here's like the office. This is kind of the office. So this is not the apartment. This is the office, right? Okay. So there's a difference between the office and the apartment. Okay. So so let me see. So yeah, so that's a little bit of look of like what the property looked like, but in terms of the expenses. So now we think, okay, since I'm going to run everything unmanned, I don't need anybody in the office, right? And I'm not going to have anybody on payroll in the office. I'm not going to pay payroll tax for that. I'm not going to pay anybody there. So I can cut. That's a significant expense that I can lower. Now that's huge because you can lower that day one. Whereas rents and increasing rent is not something you start day one, or I mean, you start it maybe day 30, but that doesn't mean you realize it. You don't realize all 5 cents or even all 20, 21, 26 cents. You don't realize it in day one. It takes you, 7 months before that's all realized, right? You may start at day one, but it takes a while before you get to everybody. And, but with payroll, that happens right away, right? So that's something that you can cut right away. So there's significant expenses. There was also the way that they were running things. There was other expenses that were inside of there that weren't really going to be attributed to this property. Like there was an assistant. So the owner had an assistant, and the assistant got paid, and they just kind of paid them out of the the operations of this property, right? So there was a couple thousands of dollars that were paid to that assistant, and that assistant was not going to be part of our plans going forward. So we were able to remove that. Also, I would say there was no insurance on these units. So typically in storage on all these units, nowadays it's very common that each unit is going to require insurance, renter's insurance, right? So I'm going to charge renter's insurance, and that's generally $9, $10 for renter's insurance or so. Of that $9 or $10, you as an owner actually make some of that. You basically get a commission on that, right? And that could be like 40%, could be higher than that, could be 50%. So it depends on what your arrangements are. So say it's 40%. So of $9, you're getting somewhere in that $4 range every time somebody pays that. So it's basically like it's good for them. It's good for you because it protects their stuff. Their renter's insurance protects their stuff from damage, and they can make claims on it. And if there's water or rodents or anything like that, or damage to their stuff, they make a claim, and then you don't have to take care of feeling responsible for their couches and things like that. And then you also get a commission on it, right? So each of these units, right? I have 452 units, right? Each of these units requires tenant insurance. Now, they may not get it all from me. Maybe 60, 70% are going to get it from me and pay $9 a month extra. But of that $9, I'm going to get $4 of it, right? So that's a lot. That's of that 452 units, right? So that's another thing that they weren't doing that we are going to do, or we actually have already started doing. Okay. So does that give you sorry, I wasn't able to give you, Mark, as far as like the numbers, just because like it was all a big blur right now. And I've looked at so many different things that what is the income and expense? I don't remember exactly, but that will give you an idea of like what you look for when you think about, is this a good deal or not? Right. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So what other questions do you have? Mark, you also, I think it says, do you look for partners? Do I look for partners? Yes, I look for partners. So I am not purchasing and buying these properties all by myself. I definitely look for partners, and I have partners on every one of these. And so this one, like I said, was a joint venture. So it was a small group of us that went out and purchased this property. I would say probably half to 80% of the people actually came with me when we went and visited the property, and we did our due diligence and had lunch with the broker and visited the property, like took those pictures, looked at the property, went and did, went on the inside, looked at the apartment that's there, looked at the, the office that's there. Oh, and by the way, those apartments in the office, since nobody's going to be there, I guess I can go stay there anytime I want, but I know I'm not going to go stay there. But what you could do, and what we're planning on doing, is we're actually going to plan to turn them into like climate controlled storage, right? So there's no climate control. These are all right now, they're not climate controlled. But we're going to turn this office and the apartment, into climate controlled storage, right? So now we have some extra amenities to bring in more money. And I didn't mention too, but like we also bought some land with this property, so we can expand and we can or put like parking and things like that there. So there's just more value add. So there, you see all that value add. There's like tons of value add, like crazy value add. That's what gets me super excited about seeing a property like this, right? You see a property, discounted rent, low competition levels, right? Low rent, but high occupancy, taken care of, like, good shape, in a good shape, right? The property looks to be in good shape. Value add in terms of like, the storage, like turning these into climate controlled storage, right? Value add possibilities, expansion possibilities, right? With extra land. I mean, to me, that's awesome. I love all that. Okay. So, all right. So, yes. Okay. What's up, Harry? Yep. It's Harry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good, Harry. Good to see you, buddy. All right. What other questions? Sean Underwood. Let me see. What do you say? Do you see payroll expenses increasing because of inflation, competitive job market? So, I would say yes, but do I see it in my, in My facilities, no, because we don't have any payroll, right? So we run it unmanned, and so there is no payroll costs for us, right? So if they do go up, then unfortunately, or for us, fortunately, we don't have to worry about that. Okay. Let's see, Mark Stephan, that was great. Okay, appreciate it, Mark. Thank you for the comments, follow up. Definitely let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions about this. Okay, so yeah, let's. I'll just kind of sort of blaze through the last couple things here. There wasn't like when we already talked about how I found the deal, submitting the LOI, and the important part right after that is putting together the team, right? Putting together the team, right? You got to have a purchase and sale agreement, right? You need a purchase and sale agreement that needs to happen ASAP, right? As soon as my purchase and sale agreement is done, what do? I'm going to get on site. I'm going to get on site and do my on-site due diligence with the team, right? So that's what we're looking to do. And, that's when you're also hiring or bringing out some other contractors out there as well, and having them take a look at it and asking them what you think or what they think about the property, right? You're looking for doing inspections. You're looking at what CapEx projects that you have. I mentioned some of the things, right? Like converting the office and converting the apartment into climate controlled storage, new signage, right? These are other things, right? A property manager, what to do with the actual property manager. These are things to think about when you're out at the actual property, right? Okay. Let me see what, after that, there's a lot of third parties that you need to get involved. So you find out, you go out the property, you like it, you're during your due diligence period, you need to now, you want to move forward. There's a lot of third parties that you need to get in contact with really quickly to make sure that this is a good property, right? So insurance, you need an insurance vendor, an insurance broker. So you can talk to an insurance person. In self-storage, your website is super important, right? Your online presence is very important. I think it's much more important than it is in multifamily. So in multifamily, your apartment building, if it has a Facebook page or something like that, that's cool, but it isn't a main, I don't know. It isn't a main thing, right? It's like, if you don't have a Facebook page, it doesn't mean that your apartment is going to be, going to go under, right? But in storage, not necessarily your Facebook page, but you need to have a website. You need to have some web presence. You need to have a working website that people can rent from, right? You can go to, you see my thing, it's Radiant Storage. You can go to radiantstorage.com. You can look at it and you can see what you think. You can click around and click reserve or click rent and, walk through the process and see what it's like. But yeah, we had to pay for that, right? So you have to have a good working website. Go there and take a look. You tell me what you think. What else? Management. Management software. You need management software. So you need to figure out how are you going to do, the in and out, who's moving in, who's moving out. You don't want to do that all on paper, right? That's not what you want to do. You want to have some software to do that. So you need to pay for some software. You need to evaluate which software you like and figure out what's going to be good for you. All right. And it's very important as your lender. You need to find your lender, and you should be finding your lender as fast as possible. For those of you who are on my last one that I did last week, I probably told you that the lender was, that was the most difficult thing that I had to get done, was finding the lender. I thought the lending was going to be easy. I thought, hey, I'm coming from multifamily. I've been a general partner on 5 different syndications, and these are like $12 million to $17 million deals. I have all these lender contacts and people asking, hey, we can get you 80%, we can get you 75%, all this great stuff. I was like, the lender part's going to be easy. That was the most difficult part. We got a lot of yeses, yes, we can do it. And then when it came down to it, it was like, no. And then all of a sudden we were like scrambling to find out how we're going to get this lending done. But in this case, we already knew that. And so we prepared for all that kind of stuff. And so we worked more with lenders that we thought can make this deal happen. In this case, we got, let me make sure, because I'm get a little confused with their different deals. So this one, we got a life insurance company. So a life insurance company to lend us on the property, right? Which if you don't know self-storage, and you may not know, but life insurance company, it's a non-recourse loan. It's I think it's a 25-year amortization. I think we're paying I think it's 4 to 4.15 or maybe 4.25. It's somewhere in that. It's either 4 to 4.25%. I think it's 5-year term. I guess renewable, non-recourse. Just to give you kind of an idea of what we got. So, but in storage, you can get your lending done through life insurance companies, whereas they're not going to lend on multifamily. Or in multifamily, you probably, you're trying to get agency debt. You're trying to get Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. And if you can't get those, maybe you're getting CMBS, or I don't know, a few people will get like HUD or something like that, right? But in storage, there is no Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. That's only for residential. So there are life insurance companies that will lend to you, and there are banks and credit unions and things like that for other properties. And there are also CMBS as well, will lend to you as well. So in our case, we got a life insurance company, so to be the lender. But let me see. So that is kind of the major things of the acquisition side of it, right? Again, I told you that we've had this property for just a little over a month. We just had our property management call today. That was, well, it was our one of our property management calls, but we have them every couple of weeks. And so this is one today, talking about how we're doing the takeover. What's the plan and process? What's our CapEx plan? How are we moving forward? What kind of things we're putting in place? How about digital? What's our online presence look like? Is our website ready? All that kind of stuff. So we had all that meeting today. And let me see. So that's it for the presentation. So the rest of it is just going to be Q&A. So, I'll go on for maybe 5 more minutes as far as Q&A. So let me know if there are any other questions that we can go over for the last sort of 5 minutes here. So I'll just kind of go down the list and see what I see. Okay, so Chip Straws, hey, thanks for joining. Do you already have money partners lined up? Well, let me see. For those of you who are, like for me, let me see, do I have that? I don't know. I would say that yes and no, right? It's kind of like a yes and no. Like I have a lot of people that tell me they're very, very interested. I have a lot of people that say, hey, Powell, I want to sign up on your list and be one of the first people that get notified. You're welcome to sign up on that list too, and potentially be a partner of mine for any deals that I have in the future. And basically what I do is, as soon as I get like a deal, like I said, I'm getting close to a letter of intent, then I reach out to that list first. And I reach out to that list and I say, hey, here's what the deal kind of looks like. I'm looking for people that are very serious and want to get into this, and people that, that want to invest and want to be a partner of mine. And let's talk. So some of those people are people I've already dealt with. I already know, and I already have a great relationship with. Other people are people that I'm sort of meeting or learning about and meeting, and we're just kind of like a newer relationship, right? But yeah, that's all said. The list, I'll tell you this, I closed 3 deals and, 3 deals in July and also the deal in January, and all of the people that came from that list, and that list is very small. That list was like, right now it's like 70 people. I don't know. It's not that many people. And my deals get filled up by that list. So I never even mark it out to like my whole list. I tell people like, there's other people that I'm friends with, and they're not on that list. And they're like, Pal, I never even saw you get this under a contract. I never saw that I had an opportunity to like invest in this thing. I was like, I already got filled up. Sorry. I just got filled up really quickly. I don't need that many people to fill these things out. They're not big deals, right? These aren't big deals. Now I'm going to go into bigger deals later. Actually nowadays I'm looking at bigger deals. So I'll probably need more capital, but when it's a certain size, I can fill it up pretty quickly. So they get done really fast. So if you're interested, if you're not part of my list, if you are interested in that, reach out to me. Facebook is the easy way. Just add me as a friend, and then just tell me that you want to be on my partner list, and then I'll send you the link, and you can fill out the partnership questionnaire if you don't already have it. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have here? Harry, let's see. You have a question here. Okay. With the previous owner having 3 property managers to manage, what did you change to have none at all? You changed to have none at all. Oh, so I did change to have none. So I have no property managers at any of those facilities, right? So there's none. So how do you do that? You're asking like, the question is, how do you go from 3 property managers to 0? Well, I have a property manager, but I don't have anybody on site, right? I don't have nobody on site as a property manager. I do have a maintenance. We do have a maintenance person that will come and cut locks, put an overlock on, throw away garbage, tell us how the property is, if there's any, something that needs to be turned off or any kind of emergencies or any, vandalism or whatever it is that we need to take care of, then that maintenance person will take care of it. But there's nobody in the office and there's nobody on site. Now, maybe the question is, how do you do that? Well, the reason, how do you do that is you do that through call center, right? So you have a call center and you do it through your website. So our phone, basically anybody can go on their phone. So you basically go to our website, or you go to our location, you see there's a big phone number. So people can call on the phone number, or they can go to our website and they just go to their website and says right there, it says, rent a unit. Okay. Rent a unit. I press rent a unit. Oh, I want a 5x10. All right. 5x10. It's $60 here. And then it'll walk them through the lease, sign the lease digitally. Right. And then submit. And then once it submits, it goes to, they get signed up, they pay with a credit card, and then they get texted back a gate code, and gate code comes to them, and they get a gate code and they can just walk right in. These ones don't have gates, just so you know, so they don't even need a gate code. But I'll just text them their number. They have a lock, and we give them a lock if they don't have one. And then they're basically able to use the facility right away. Right. So they can basically rent right away. And the same process is over the phone, right? So somebody can just walk somebody over the phone, or they can just do it all online. So that's the easiest way to do it, right? And that's the way that we do it, right? We keep it on man, and it's been great for us. Let's see, Mark, what's the name of our website? So the website is radiantstorage.com. So if you look up in the corner up here, Radiant Storage, that's our brand. So if you just go to radiantstorage.com, that will bring you to our website, right? And then you can check out our website. Yeah, it's the retail side of our website, right? So it's not about my business or anything. It's just about the retail side. But you can look at it and see what you think, and see the pictures and how it's all laid out, and click through and see what you think. So that's all that. Man, every time I do this, I say that I'm only going to go for like 45 minutes. I end up going for an hour. But that all said, I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you all for coming out. I'll try to do this. I'm trying to do it once a week. And if there are any questions or any topics that you would like me to talk about, definitely let me know. I'd happy to discuss any topics that you want to talk about. Also, if you aren't signed up be a partner of mine, feel free to write to me and let me know, and you can become a partner of mine. And I would also definitely appreciate, I don't know if it really matters that much, but I'd love a thumbs up. If you give a thumbs up on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and things like that. So that'd be awesome. Appreciate it. You got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll talk to you guys next week. Next week, I think the plan is to go over other deal. So this one was, let me see. So this one was the deal that we closed, 452 units. This is deal number 1, January. We closed it January 9th. The next one, I think, was January 16th. We closed January 16th, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 152 unit property that we closed then. So we'll be going over that one. Also an off-market deal as well. So we'll talk about off-market deals as well. Okay. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Harry. I see you got another comment there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys all joining, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.